how come you didn't give me a call? What? Because I left a notice with a phone number.
The woman who owns the abandoned cat has just turned up. Daniel wants to know why she left it here to starve.
The thing was, I had to give it food and water. There's no food, no water for both the cats, not just the one I've taken today.
I came back to get the cats. I've got Squiddo, the black one.
The black one, yeah.
The little one, I can't find it.
Yeah, I've got it in a cage right here.
Like, did you have trouble catching it?
Yeah, well, a little
because
bit.
Because it is,
yeah.
like, I think it was a feral border cat.
Yeah.
It turns out this cat was an adopted stray and has never been domesticated. The woman was unable to catch it before she left.
And then it just runs and it hisses at the kids and everything.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't just abandoning the house with the cat.
Well, see, that's the thing. When we leave notice, no one gets back to us. We've got no other option but to think that me and every time we turn up, there's no food or water. Then we've got no.
So am I in trouble? I was trying to do the right thing by it.
Or do you want to sign the cat over to me now? Then?
Yeah.
Daniel's got the result he wanted.
The owners have turned up and signed the animal over to us. There's definitely no grounds for prosecution, but they've signed the cat over, which is, at the end of the day, probably the main result we want is to have the animal now in a loving, caring home.
But before he can be rehomed, this semi-feral cat must lose his fear of humans. Six chained-up working dogs, an old rubbish tip, a bag of dog food, and the carcasses of slaughtered animals. That's all Bev has to go on in her search for the person who left the dogs in such a perilous environment. First stop, the local pub. Often the best place for information in a small town like this.
Hi, how you going? Inspector Bev Holloway, RSPCA.
The publican can't help much.
Or whatever. So you got no idea who owns them at all?
I've heard them talking about them in here in the hotel, but that's all the knowledge I have about them. I haven't seen them.
But he suggests the name of a neighbour who might know what's going on.
Any idea who might
Yeah,
know
well, I've inquired about that, and a few people have said that he's a drover from Bimby, and he lives up here.
Okay.
You know, nothing worse than seeing cruelty. It'll get up to around 40 degrees here, and those dogs will perish after.
But when Bev arrives at the drover's house, there's no one home. Bev leaves a formal notice, demanding the drover call her urgently.
And, yeah, hopefully they'll give us a ring. Solve a bit of the history.
Matt's returned to the shelter with Zoe, the Jack Russell, who's suffered years of neglect.
This is the little girl, this is Zoe. I just seized her. Wow. For obvious reasons.
She looks atrocious.
Yeah. From what I've got so far, the dog hasn't been to a vet in at least 2 years and has been in this condition for possibly 18 months. Getting much, much worse over the last 6 to 8 months. She's a Jack Russell, apparently. I had to ask him what breed she was because she's a little unrecognisable.
She's going to be one of the worst dogs I've ever seen, I think.
I'm pretty sure she's blind.
I don't know if you can see a thing.
I don't know how long it's been since he clipped its nails.
She's sort of missing eyelids. That's why it looks unusual, because she's got no eyelids. I'm just patting her and just chunks of skin are falling away.
The owner faces a charge of aggravated cruelty.
We're taking photos of her so that if this case goes to court, we can easily prove to the magistrate what sort of conditions she was in when she presented. Often the photos are the things that add most weight to a case, because just look at her. I mean, anyone can look at her and see how bad condition she is. But the bottom line is she hasn't been treated for at least 2 years, and she needed vet treatment a long time ago. She's definitely one of the worst dogs I've ever seen. I mean, just look at her feet, they're just atrocious, and her whole coat, I mean, it's just falling apart. She's been uncomfortable for a long time now. It's just horrendous. And unfortunately, she's far too bad for us to consider doing something now, and it's in her best interest that we put her to sleep.
A day after Bev left the note at the drover's house, her detective work is paying off.
Been in contact with the drover, so we've agreed to meet today.
The drover chained these dogs here before he went into hospital 2 months ago. He asked friends to feed and water them while he was away.
Yeah, Inspector Holloway, RSPCA.
Bev's keen to know why Brian left the dogs without shelter at the tip, instead of at his house in town.
I could keep them in town, but if you get barking dogs, I don't like to upset neighbours, right? Yeah.
Well, it is a requirement under the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act to supply a dog with shelter at all times. Okay, so that's the main thing. My concern is that they go and that they'll continue to be working dogs because that's what these sort of dogs deserve.
Bev wants the dogs out of here. Brian agrees to surrender them.
I'm glad you come along with us.
Well, like I said,
I didn't want to share them.
The dogs are in surprisingly good condition after 2 months tied up in the tip.
That bloke over there, that's George.
That's George, is it?
He's 7 months old. He's a New Zealand hunterway.
Oh, he's a beautiful dog.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cloud.
Cloud. So he's 5 months old too?
Yeah, and I think that dog will be a very good dog.
What we're organised by some blokes at Cara that need some working sheepdogs that are willing to take them on.
As long as they look after.
Yeah, no, believe me, I'll be checking them to make sure that they're okay.
That's the way.
The sheepdogs Cloud and George start work at their new home tomorrow. But after their ordeal here, there's no telling if they'll be able to cope.
Hello, Daniel.
How you going, Vicky?
Oh, what a pretty pussycat.
Yeah, this cat was just surrendered to me at a property where we received a complaint about a couple of cats being abandoned. Apparently they had taken one of the cats the day before.
A little pussycat. Just bring it over here. Nice clean ears. Very beautiful eyes. Oh, it's just a baby. This cat wouldn't be 6 months yet, so it's a nice young cat.
The cat may be in good physical condition, but he's still terrified of humans.
It's a little bit tense.
And that could jeopardise his chances of finding a new home.
The cat is clearly scared.
Well, there's our little two, so this is Cloud and George.
A day after they were rescued from the rubbish tip, the drovers' dogs are starting new jobs. But they seem to be a bit daunted.
They haven't exactly had much training.
Yep.
Come on. Good girl. You're no more sheepdog than I am, ain't you? Come on. What do you plan as far as training goes for the first week or so?
In the first week, probably just feed them and keep them home.
Yep.
And get them to come to you.
Yep.
And then start to bring them over here and see if they're any good.
That's great. Well, look, I'll get in contact with you in a few weeks' time and see how they're going. And hope you've got a couple of good dogs on your hand.
Yep.
Terrific.
The RSPCA brought 4 charges of animal cruelty against the owner of the neglected Jack Russell.
Zoe's owner pleaded guilty this morning to 4 charges of animal cruelty.
The magistrate found Zoe's owner guilty on 1 charge of aggravated cruelty, 2 charges of failing to provide vet treatment, and 1 charge of failing to provide reasonable care. He was fined $2,000 plus costs.
It's one of the worst cases I've had to deal with in the time I've been here, but the court's made a ruling on it now, and I can move on to the next job.
It's okay, Tucker.
What a difference tender loving care makes.
Good boy.
After a few weeks of rehabilitation by the RSPCA, the abandoned cat is transformed. He's been adopted by the Ibbott family. They've named him Taka.
I think he's really cute, and he's usually playful in the morning and at night.
Taka's a very important part of our family.
I don't think we can imagine life without him now, can we, Lana?
No. He's too cute.
As the drover predicted, the 2 sheepdogs proved to be excellent workers. But sadly, Cloud's life was cut short when he was bitten by a snake.
Come here, George. Hey, George.
But free from his chains at the rubbish tip, George has found a whole new life as David's top dog.
He's happy. He comes across happy every day. He wants to be with you, so he's enjoying his life here, and that's a good sign. Really good sign. Come on, let's come. Let's come.
And perhaps unusually for a working dog, George has become part of the family as well.
I fell in love with him the first time David brought him home. We put him in his cage and went, "What's that dog, Dave? Where'd you get that?" And he went, "Oh, got him from work." And I went, "Oh, he's beautiful."
I just want to give him a good home and a bit of love and attention. And that's what they love the most. Me?
Next time on Animal Rescue.
We do have a search warrant here to execute on you.
Inspectors raid a house crammed with sick animals.
Get back.
But this man insists he's done nothing wrong.
They're not dead. There's not a dead bird in the bloody place, mate.
2 inspectors and 20 volunteers embark on a wild goose chase.
He's there! He's there! Get him! Get him!
And it's the operating theatre for this kitten.
There's hardly any muscle mass at all.
But will she survive?
It's Saturday the 14th of December, which means only 11 days to go till the big day that begins with C. So, while we're out hanging tinsel and spraying our windows to look like snow, we're also warming the Yule log with some festive treats including Street Crime UK, our Christmas special tonight at 9.